Hi, I'm Kelly Wright. This is the Resilient Grove. This is a gathering place for honest conversations about healing, resilience, and the courage it takes to grow through life's hardest seasons. Let's take a moment before we begin. I invite you all to join us. Close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and a deep breath out. Make yourself comfortable, and let's get started. Well, hi, Chad.
How are you?
Finally, we're getting to do this. I think I met you around this time last year. It was just right after I think you announced you were going to be running for mayor.
Yes.
Do you remember when that was?
Yep. It was actually right about now.
So I had created a kindness program, and I called it Hearts of Olmsted.
Yep.
Emailed every councilman, everybody in the city. You and Megan were the only ones that replied. And then so when we met and I found out that you had had a heart transplant, it was like, oh, that's kind of fun, right? That connection. So I was like, well, this is the guy I want to kind of like support, right?
Sure.
Not to mention you're into the cats too, which we'll get into. But how have you noticed that we're like in your life where you have those like uncanny, spontaneous like meetings with people like that?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, things just work out that way.
They do.
Things.
Did you notice that before the heart or after the heart more?
No, I think it's always been I've always felt that way, that, certain things happen for certain reasons. Some people are supposed to be brought into your life and some people are supposed to be taken out of your life,
And I felt like at that time, because you and Megan wrote me back, like, nobody else did, so that's why I threw my energy into kind of just bonding with you and Megan, so thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
So anyway, I started at Hearts of Olmsted because of how I saw everybody come for me after the fire. And it has been something that's been very rewarding, which I didn't know in the beginning when I started it, but like, it's like Santa Claus. When I deliver baskets, like you see adults like light up.
Yep.
And it's such a lovely feeling to like give back that way. So I don't know if I would have had the oomph to do it had I not had you and Megan supporting me. And not just like you didn't really like support me much, but with just that extra support. But then you showed up at my health and wellness event in July, and I was like, okay, I like this guy. Like, you seem to be a very supportive, kind man.
Well, I don't know if my wife would have. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You know what? I'd be lying if I didn't tell you that it really comes from the support that I've received. I've had 3 open heart surgeries. Well, 2 open heart surgeries and the heart transplant. I have had people in this community bend over backwards for me and my family, raise money for me and my family, cook food for me and my family. And so, part of the reason that I do that is because people have done it for me.
For you.
And, I don't, it's hard. It's hard because sometimes a lot of people think just giving somebody money, mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I get it, because some people are like, I don't really know what to do, but I want to do something. Yeah. So they just give you money.
That's why the GoFundMe is good.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I've also found out that, it's also nice just to be present, mm-hmm. or show support, or like you said, your health and wellness. Yeah, it took me an hour out of my day.
Yeah,
stop in and say hi, meet a few people. So that's really why I do it. Plus, obviously I'm hyper focused on things that are in the falls, businesses that are in the
mm-hmm.
falls, residents that are in the falls. Clearly I'm not going to be able to support every single thing that comes out. I just don't have that much time in my life. But if I can and when I can, absolutely.
I love that. And I wanted to also bring up is that prior to you getting elected, the presence that I saw you have on social media was what?
No, it's just, go ahead.
I thought it was lovely.
Yeah.
Because you never went low.
No.
You never got accusatory, like when you see in these politics, right? Like, look today, everybody's just arguing back and forth, right? You were never that way. You were always facts, replying to people, number one, which is huge. Yeah. You were engaging with people. So kudos to you. Like, I don't know if I have ever seen that before, where you don't see that back and forth, right?
Well, it's funny. The reason I was chuckling when you started saying that was because I just got Facebook 2.5 years ago when I ran for city council.
Okay.
I am not a Facebook guy. I am not a post guy.
It's a full-time job, man, to sit on that city page, you know?
It can be.
Yeah.
It can be.
Especially around election time.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I mean, I don't think at the city level, you know, that throwing mud, you know, he said, she said stuff, you know, I was on the fire department for 21 years. I've lived in the city for 28. People know me. People know who I am. People, you know, they've had a beer with me at Fat Little Buddies or.
So you didn't become someone you weren't.
No, and you know,
you stayed true to yourself.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, and you know, and I think ultimately I think that's what helped me win.
I was just about to say that. I really think that that could resonate with voters because you've been around for so long.
Right.
Not only that, but different systems.
Well, knew
systems.
And you know, a lot of, you know, I'm sure you read a lot of the posts where, you know, are you Republican, are you Democrat?
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, I
love that.
I'm an independent.
Yes.
I mean, listen,
because you see how people want to take it to that level, right?
Well, and I've said, you know, first of all, at the city level, I don't think Republican or Democrat really matters.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not making those kind of decisions.
Right.
But unfortunately, because our society has become so hyper focused on
one or the other.
If you know, for example, like, hey, I'm pro-gun. Oh my God, you're a Republican, KKK, hate everything. No, that doesn't mean that.
Yeah.
You know, or you know, like, you know, obviously in the healthcare, I think our healthcare system is broken. I think we need to fix it. Oh my gosh, you know, believe everybody should get free healthcare.
Oh yeah, you're a socialist.
Yeah. And it's like, listen, that's not what I'm saying.
That's what I loved about it, because you didn't go there.
Right.
You didn't give anybody the ammunition to go there.
Right.
You were I was laying in bed last night thinking about this. I was like, wow, like I don't think I've ever seen that. I mean, it probably happens,
Sure.
but like it's not very common you see that, because in the big media, that's all you see are just mudslinging, right?
Right.
So you were sworn in what, beginning of January?
January 2nd.
Okay. And so what kind of, like, did you have a plan already, like what you want to do, the tone, the culture of your office? You already had an idea?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest positives of me being elected is I already have a ton of relationships in the city, right? Everybody in the fire department, everybody in the service department, everybody in the police department already know me. The building department, you know.
So there was really no, like.
No, I mean, there was a couple people at City Hall that I knew, but I didn't really know.
Okay.
You know, like the senior center director, I just met, you know, when I was elected. But, you know,
so there's really no getting to know you.
Yeah,
everybody already knows you.
Yeah, everybody kind of knew me. Everybody kind of knew what I was, you know, what I'm about, who I am. You know, and the nice part is when, you know, as I went door to door, you know, I was very upfront with people of, you know, what my goals are. You know, we're a small little bedroom community. Hopefully, we're not going to have a whole lot of, you know, what do I want to say? You know, controversies or anything like that going on.
Yeah.
Fiscally, we're pretty sound. We got, you know, we're not rich, but, you know, we got some money in the bank. You know, I was very open about, you know, wanting to do some kind of tax reform where, in my opinion, you know, I would rather pay my taxes out of my income than my property. I'm just a firm believer that if I own a piece of property, it's mine. I don't believe that, you know, a couple should ever have to look at each other and say, hey, we may have to move because I can no longer afford
to live here.
Yeah. You know, at least when you're paying your taxes out of your income, the nice part is the more money you make, the more taxes you pay. The less money you make, the less taxes you pay. So it really helps the seniors. It really helps the disabled. You know, so.
Were those all things that you had an idea of before you wanted to run for mayor?
They were, you know, so, you know, obviously in the fire department, you know,
So this is like a year in the making of like what I would do if I were mayor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was. And truthfully, you know, initially I never really had the career path of being a mayor. My career path was to retire from the fire department.
Did this kind of fall in your lap after the heart?
It did, because so when I found out I had to retire from the fire department because of my transplant, I still wanted to be able to be part of the community. So I said, well, I'll just run for
City council.
So I got on the city council,
And you never did that while you were, excuse me, in the fire department at all?
no, you're not allowed. It would be a conflict of interest to be,
okay.
a city council person, because you'd be voting on things that, affect
you.
your job.
I got it. Okay.
So I'd vote for big raises every year. That's why you can't do it.
So if you had never had your heart transplant, do you think this would have been a path for you?
No, yeah, probably not.
Wow. Okay.
I probably would have retired from the fire department, and I just probably would have spent another 10 years at the fire department and then just
I
retired.
think that somebody, maybe it was Megan, told me that while you were in the hospital, you were still doing virtual meetings and.
Yeah, so I never missed. I only missed one council meeting, and it was actually when I got my transplant.
Was it something that became like a purpose, a meaning for you to keep living and getting well, and like it gave you something to do while you're in the hospital?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, I don't know if you know, but I spent 5.5 months in the hospital.
I remember you telling me it was a long time.
Yeah, so you
like
get
all day, every day, 5.5 months.
every day. So,
Wow.
yep.
Wow. That was when after the heart transplant?
Before the heart transplant. I was only in the hospital for a month after.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you literally had to live there.
I literally had to live there.
Where was it?
Down at University Hospital.
Downtown?
Yep.
So did your family have to go back and forth?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
So was that time, now that you can reflect and look back, was that time like you had all that time to focus on designing how you would run city council, mayor?
Yeah, no, not really. Most of that time was just, praying and hoping that I was going to live. And, I mean, obviously I'd zoom in on calls, and, I would, send out emails. Hey, I think this, or hey, I think that. So the only bad thing, I was never allowed to vote in council because you have to be present to vote. But I'd be able to email and say, hey, I read the packet. I know I don't have a vote, but I think this or I think that. Or if I did vote, I'd vote this way because X, Y, and Z.
Was everybody supportive?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, some people didn't necessarily vote the same way that I would have, but they were
got
all.
Your voice out.
Yeah, but I mean, and that's the that's the nice part about government is, hey, I mean, I wish more people could agree to disagree, if that makes sense.
Well, that's my next question.
Oh.
How have you managed that since you've been mayor?
You know what? So far, I think it's awesome. I mean, Megan will tell you, Megan and I differ on opinions on some things, but we're friends. Go out and have a drink together, go have dinner together. We don't fight over, well, you believe this and I don't believe that.
So what's the secret to that?
You know what? I think people just need to be mature and be like, listen, when I was on the campaign trail, one of the things I said was, I love my mom and dad more than anything, but I don't necessarily agree with everything they've ever done or said. I love my wife. Don't necessarily agree with everything she's done and or said. I love my kids. So my point being is who nobody that I ever known knows somebody that they agree with 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Right? It's just not going to.
Right.
And I think people have to start to realize that
it's a healthy thing that you can have difference of opinion.
And just because you don't see it the way that I do doesn't mean you're a bad person.
Honest to God, today I was having a conversation with my daughter. We were playing Mario, and I was trying to tell her, take this route, because that's the route I take. And she says, I don't always have to take the same route you do.
That's right.
And it was like, a bell went off. I was like, that's the best line I've ever heard. You're right. You don't have to take the same path I do. So yeah, that's great. So you haven't really had too much of that?
No, not yet. I mean, we've had I mean, I don't know if you've came to a lot of council meetings before.
I've never been to any of them.
So the last couple, it's refreshing because there's a lot of discussion, a lot of conversation.
Do you think that's because of your leadership?
No, I think the council we have now have some good leadership of their own.
Okay.
And I think that they, I hope maybe some of it's me, they feel comfortable that they can.
That's just it. That's what I'm saying.
That they're allowed to express themselves.
Yes.
But listen, I mean, we have some great people on council right now who really want to, like, for the lack of better words, get down and dirty and do some work, which is awesome. which
And
is
I
awesome.
think what you just said is your leadership lets people feel safe that they can use their voice and be just be heard, be seen, all of the above.
Yeah, well, and what I hope is the most is that somebody who I disagree with can still feel comfortable
Exactly.
stating, hey.
Like you're not going to retaliate.
No,
you're not going to get revenge. Yeah, right. You're going to respect them at the end of the day.
And that's what's great about our form of government is that's why we have people vote. And at the end of the day, if more people vote for whatever, whether I like it or not, that's what they voted for. And that's how we do things right now. So you just say, okay, well, listen, this is what the people wanted, and this is what they voted for, and this is what we'll get.
So now that you're mayor, are you still active on Facebook?
Yes, but not as much. I mean, I do try to read, some of the comments I just ignore because it doesn't make any sense to get involved. But if there's a specific comment where someone will say, hey, what's going on? What's going on with the construction? I'll get on there real quick and be like, hey, it's a Pineway project, or it's there's sewers going in, or there's over in our old neighborhood. I'm still very active on the Westview. So there'll be some questions on there. I'll pop on there real quick. There's always questions about fireworks.
I know.
So I'll throw on there real quick, hey, that's Olmsted.
Do you have it set up so you can get like alerts when somebody says your name?
No, because
Okay.
I'd be afraid my phone would be just blowing up.
Well, you get like alerts so that you don't have to read everything that's ever posted.
No, but I have enough people out there that will
that's a good
screenshot it
idea.
and send it to me and be like, hey, look, somebody said.
All right, well, I want to change gears and go to your heart transplant. So it was something that people started to recognize on Facebook before you got elected, that you had one. Like a lot of people don't know that about
Right.
you. So you had, would you say 2 open heart surgeries before that?
Yes.
So you want to are you comfortable with talking about that
Yeah,
journey?
no. So,
Okay.
I was on the fire department for, I don't know, four years or so. And I ended up I started developing some cardiac issues, and I had to have an aortic valve replaced.
How old were you?
33 or 34.
Is this like a genetic thing, or was this
No, just
stress of work?
Well, that's the problem is we, it was never diagnosed. So the assumption is it was something job related, maybe a chemical or something I came into contact with or something, or just the overall. But I played high school sports. I never had any
Generally
issues.
overall healthy.
Overall,
until
yeah.
then, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So you were, would you say how old? You were what?
30. I can't remember if I was 33 or 34. I think I was 33.
That was the first one.
Yeah.
Damn.
And so they ended up putting a cow valve in there.
Okay.
Well, it got infected. It's called endocarditis. So I ended up with endocarditis. So I had to go in and they had to cut it out and put another one in. And
Again, open you up.
Yep.
Put another cow valve in?
Well, they put a pig valve, or I'm sorry, a human valve at that
Okay.
point. And then that was good for about 15 years. And then I started having
And so by all this time, you're still working as a fireman?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And so I started then I just started having more and more frequent cardiac problems.
Wow.
And then, January 18th of 2024?
How old were you then?
50. I went into cardiac arrest. Yep. And then one of my good friends I was teaching a class with did CPR on me. And then the rest
You were teaching a class at that time?
Yeah, we both were teaching. We were teaching the EMT class at Oberlin College.
Get out.
Yeah.
And you just collapsed right there.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, it's the right time to do it.
Yeah, well, my friend Jason, he's a Columbia fireman and a Parma fireman. He was teaching a class with
Do you have any memory of any of that?
No, all I remember is telling him, hey, I don't feel good, call 911. And I remember him on the phone with 911. And then next thing I do, I remember waking up in the ER.
Did you flatline at all?
Yeah, well, I don't know because they were doing chest compressions on me, and I had a defibrillator in my chest, so it kept shocking me. So.
Wow. So then you go to the hospital. So you were in the hospital for what you said, like 3 months before you got 4 months before.
5.5 months.
But that was before the heart. So you were in there for like 4 months before the heart and then a month after.
5.5 months before and a month after. So I was in 6.5 months total.
Oh my God. So the whole time you had to live in there before the heart transplant, was that because your heart wasn't able to function?
Yeah, so I was on an IV drip continuously and I was on a monitor continuously so that they could keep.
Did you get therapy or anything to keep moving? Or?
Yeah. They had physical therapy would come in. They had a stationary bike that I would pedal. They would do like real lightweight type stuff.
Do you feel like that's like close to a near-death experience?
Well, it's about as close to death as you could get.
Seriously?
I think I technically died.
I mean, like, do you
I guess
feel,
I didn't technically die because here I am, but.
well, you were dead when they took the heart out and put the new one in.
Yep.
What, I mean, how are you doing? So you said 24?
So, 24, yeah. So, yep, it's been a year, and June was a year. So this June will be 2 years.
So how have you been feeling so far?
I feel great. Yeah, I feel great.
Athletic-wise, are you still able to keep up with all of that?
Yeah, actually, I'm better now because, matter of
Really?
fact, my wife and I were just talking. We went on a cruise, and usually, after walking for a little while, I'd get a little winded, and now
Really?
yeah,
Oh, that's great.
I could walk 500 miles.
Do you feel like now that you're mayor, did any of that help you become a better leader, or did it change you at all in how you lead?
So I think it has. I mean, I guess you'd have to ask the people who work for me. But it's also, I think what has changed with me is I don't sweat the little things.
You know what the big picture is now.
I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, there's things that need to get done.
Yeah.
And they need to get done right.
Yeah.
But, there's going to be some little things that's like, hey, like something pops up on a Friday. Prior administrations would be on the phone all weekend. Depending on what it is, hey, it can wait till Monday. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's go
So
spend time
that's
with.
kind of my lesson I had after the fire is like, slow down.
Yeah, slow down.
Yes. Take a moment.
It's gonna still be there on Monday.
Yes, yeah.
We'll handle it on Monday. Well, not only that, but I'm a big one of the, obviously because of my health issues, is I'm a huge, hey, your family comes first.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know. When the last time you're going to give them a kiss and a hug goodbye, and that's it.
Yeah.
So that's why I try not to, make too many phone calls or do too much stuff after hours or on the weekends. I mean, obviously I have to because there's things that have to be done. But
You don't make it a habit of it.
But I don't make a habit of it, especially if it can wait. If it can wait till Monday, you and I could have that conversation on Monday, or you and I could have that email on Monday.
And it works out for the other person too.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's.
But sometimes we need those people like you to just be like, slow down.
Yeah, it's gonna be all right.
Chill. We'll figure this out in a couple days. Like, enjoy your weekend.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yep.
All right, so let's segue to the cats. Okay. So when I lived in my house over the years, I think I rescued 20 cats and kept most of them because I didn't feel like I couldn't just release them back in there. I was like, well, let me just try to rehab them. And like, I called my house the halfway house. Like, if I could rehab a cat, then I would keep them. And if I couldn't, then I had to let them back out. And there were some I had to let back out. But I had somebody, I think it was on Sarah, you guys are neighbors, she must have posted something about how you were pro cat and TNR, and I was just like, oh, I love this guy even more. So how did you get into supporting that? So
the truth of the matter is,
well, first of all, let's talk about what TNR is.
Yeah, so it's where you catch them, you trap them, you rescue them, you spay, neuter, whatever, give them their shots, and then you release them.
Yeah. Obviously, to control the cat population that we have in these towns.
Right. So the truth of the matter is when Sarah first approached me, I had no idea what a feral cat was.
You had never seen him walking around the neighborhood?
Well, yes, but I didn't know what a feral cat was. I just thought that, I didn't realize.
You thought it was somebody's cat?
Yeah, I just thought it was somebody's cat or whatever. So I didn't realize there were wild cats and that they were feral and all that stuff. So she had approached me as a council person. And the truth of the matter is not that I'm a big cat lover. It's more of a, there was a problem in our ward. Yes. And so my question to her was, well, how do we fix it? And she gave me some ideas. And initially, she said, I said, what do you need right now? She says, well, if we could get some traps, that would be great. Mm-hmm. And so I told her, I said, well, how much is a trap? I think they were $50, I think. And I think I ordered 5 of them. I said, well, I'll get 5 of them sent. Give me your address. I'm on TS, Tractor Supply.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, don't you have to get approval from city council? I said, well, no, I'll just pay for them out of my pocket. I mean, I get $500 as being a councilman. I said, I'll buy $250 worth of traps. I said, that's what we need to get started with, get started. I go, listen, if I got to go through council, it's going to take weeks.
Yeah.
So I just ordered them, and then we discussed, how they were getting caught and then who we were using.
When did all this happen?
Oh boy, probably. Well, I actually had one Zoom meeting while I was in the hospital.
Oh, so this is far back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did have one Zoom meeting while I was in the hospital, and then I think we've had one meeting last year.
Okay.
And so the problem with the meetings was, I said, well, I got to do some research. I got to get some other council people on board. Obviously, if I get elected as mayor, I could do more. So it was kind of slow going. The big hurdle that we're finding is finding a facility that will take these cats and perform these procedures. And don't quote me on this. I think right now there's a young lady that lives over on Locust. She's a owner of Forever Companions.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's taken them out to, I think, Euclid.
Okay.
So I've been trying to find somewhere closer.
Okay.
Like I've tried to reach out to a Bria animal. And then I have reached out to Middleburg, started their own rescue. Excuse me. And I was talking to them about, hey, would this be a program where we could bring them to you, you'd do it, and then we would bring them back. So
when I had mine, and I don't even know, somebody must have told me to do this because I was new to all of it too. Same situation. It was like, I have all these cats in my backyard, and somebody's like, well, buy a trap. I was like, well, what does that mean? I don't know how to do that, right? So it was a process too.
Yep.
But I ended up taking him to, I think it's the Cuyahoga Animal Protective Shelter, APL.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you bring them in the trap, it was $10. And so I just would go down there, and it was like $20 if you wanted to get the shots and all that.
Yeah.
So I just ended up taking it. In fact, they knew who I was because I had so many cats that I was bringing down there. But I don't know. Is that an option?
So yeah, we're still trying to get a official program up and running. But I think what we're trying to do right now is, so we have those traps out there. Sarah has them. Forever Companion has them. What the next step for me is to try to get council to allocate some funds, and then I think initially what we're probably going to have to do is have residents call us
when they see a cat,
or get a hold of Forever Companion, have the traps brought to their house, have them trapped, and then I think what we'll probably have to do initially is have Forever Companions handle it. I've looked. Unfortunately, there's a lot of cities around us do nothing with their feral cats. And so I was kind of hoping.
That's why I would love for us to be the leader in that, because it's not just an Olmsted Falls thing; it's an every town thing.
Well, I was hoping that another town I could just share a resource. Like, hey, we don't have the the money to pay a full-time animal warden. But let's say North Olmsted or Berea or somebody had one, and I could say, hey, if we could use them once or twice a week, we'll pay for that. But they don't. I mean, they don't really manage their cats. So
let's hope you can be the leader in that.
We're going to try.
Yeah,
we're going to try.
I mean, for you to be the first mayor to even want to do something about it is great. Because the previous mayor did not do anything. I had heard that there was a program years ago.
So I think Kitty Fenderbosch, when she was on city council, my understanding was there was some money. I think at that point they used to take the cats to the Berea Animal Shelter. But for some reason, I don't know what happened there.
And it disconnected?
It got disconnected.
Yeah.
So, but we're going to try to restart something.
Yeah, good. Okay. So you've been a firefighter, a councilman, now you're a mayor. You obviously say yes to service a lot. Does it ever weigh you down because you have so many responsibilities?
No. Before,
I mean, especially now that you have a new heart, you can't take on more stress, right?
You know what? I mean, so that's the first issue is I tell people all the time, I don't It's not that stressful.
That's great.
Because,
Okay.
I think
It's how you make it too.
yes.
You could make it stressful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And listen, I realize I'm going to get into some stressful issues, but at the end of the day, I just sit back and go, you know what? I laid in a hospital for 5.5 months, not knowing if I was going to live or die. I could get through this. You know, I don't think there's anything that's going on a regular basis that should stress somebody out that much.
Agreed. But I think it takes a leader like you to set that culture and that tone.
Well, hopefully
because you get the wrong leader who wants to go, busy, and that makes everybody chaotic, right?
Right.
So it's all about how, speaking of my next question, so now that you're in this new role, but you already kind of answered it earlier, is that people know you, so you're just you. Like I don't know you, but have you changed since you become mayor?
I hope not. I hope I'm still the same Chad I was.
You know, sometimes when you get that title role that, and people
I know
kind of.
all too well.
Right, you get an ego to it, right?
Yeah, I hope not. I have enough people at City Hall that told me if I change that they'll rearrange it real quick.
So, all right, what is a mayor 4 years?
4 years.
Okay, so what does your 4-year plan look like? When you run for mayor, do you have to have like all those goals like set up like this is what I want for 4 years?
So, I mean, you should.
Okay.
Do you have to? No. But when you're knocking on doors and people are asking you questions, you should probably have an idea of what it is and what you want to do. So my number one goal, especially when I went to the door, is to do some kind of property tax reform. A lot of people, when you read the Facebook pages, a lot of people want more and more industry. But there's really nowhere to put industry within the city. Now, I mean, we can collaborate with the township, we can collaborate with some other people, but as far as the city of Olmsted Falls, there's really nowhere to build that industrial parkway that is going to save all of our taxes. So you're going to have to pay it one way or the other way.
And I feel like that's kind of how Olmsted Falls was set up to be a bedroom community, though.
It is, and I believe it was.
And I think that's why I moved here, why people move here, is because it's not a industrial way. So the money's going to have to come from somewhere.
Everybody likes that small. People like coming to downtown Olmsted Falls because it's not a Taco Bell and a McDonald's and a Burger King. It's a mom and pop,
supporting local businesses.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
They're not franchised.
Yeah. And to go to all those, it's not that far away. North Olmsted, Strongsville, like we're in like a kind of the hub of where we can go anywhere.
Exactly.
So I like this. For me, at least, raising children, this was the perfect city to do that.
Yeah.
And I had heard that. That's why I moved here.
Yeah.
Everybody said.
I raised all 3 of my daughters here.
Yeah.
But so the
all right, so the first is the property tax.
Yeah.
Okay.
And how do you do that? Like I said, if we can, and granted, it would have to go to the voters. I can't just wave a wand and say we're going to do this. But I think
if you present it in a way that seems,
yeah, and like if we were to raise the income tax from 1.5 to 2. I'd be able to get rid of. So there's 3 fire levies and 1 police levy that we would be able to take off of your tax burden. Now, granted, you'd be paying it income tax wise, but now it actually would lessen your house payment.
So it does help seniors.
It helps seniors a lot. And if I could, it would give me more money to hire more police and firemen without asking for property tax raises.
So what's the negative end of that then? Like, why would people say no to that?
Well, some people look at it as, you're cutting into my paycheck.
Oh, okay.
But
you're paying it regardless.
And that would be my response. Is I tell people all the time, would you rather have $1,000 paycheck and have to spend $250 in taxes on your house, or just get a $750 paycheck?
Yeah.
And then you pay nothing on your house. So, I mean, there is going to be people. So
it's basically just where you're allocating the money and how you're labeling it and taking it out. Okay.
Well, the nicer side is that people who work in the city of Olmsted Falls who don't live here will also pay 0.5% more. So it'll actually bring in a little bit more money. And
you get more incentive for people to work here and live here.
Yeah. Yes. And one of the bigger factors is, every 5 years we have to keep going back to the voters and asking, hey, can you replace this?
Yeah.
So
we could get rid of all of that?
Not all of it, but at least on the police and fire
side. So have any other cities in the surrounding area do that?
So Avon just did it.
Okay.
Avon Lake is looking at doing it.
Okay.
Now North Ridgeville just tried, but theirs failed.
Okay.
They did put it on, they did have it up for.
Did they do a good job presenting it?
So I don't know that.
Okay.
Because it was on this past fall.
Okay.
And so I didn't really get to pay attention a lot because I was too busy
I would
campaigning.
think that it's all about how you present it.
Yes.
It makes sense to people so they understand.
100%.
Yeah.
And as I went door to door and as as I expressed why and how, a lot of people are like, oh, especially the elderly.
Exactly.
Especially the elderly, you're like, oh,
But like
wait a
that
second.
just is, like you have to take the time to explain it so we understand it. And then once we understand it, then it makes sense, right?
Yep.
Well, hopefully this podcast will help.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we're going to do the cats. You're going to do the working on that. So what else you got?
And then the other big thing is just we're looking at some infrastructure stuff.
Okay.
What
does that mean?
Well, one of the big things, a lot of people want sidewalks.
Oh, yes.
A lot of people want sidewalks for connectivity to the whole city.
Yes.
I have a meeting scheduled here soon with the Metromarks about maybe collaborating with them.
Okay.
And then some kind of parks and recs. Something. I know there's a lot of people out there who want a rec center.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can afford a rec center. I mean, I'm going to find out.
Yeah.
One of the things I told on the campaign trail was, I don't believe my job as the mayor is to tell people yes or no to a rec center. I believe my job is to
see if there's a possibility.
Well, go do the research and present. Hey, if you guys want a rec center with a pool and all this stuff, here's what it's going to cost, and here's what's going to cost per month or per year or whatever.
And then you leave it to the voters.
If you want a field house or something in the middle of nothing and a full-blown rec center, it's going to cost this, and this is what it's going to cost you per year. And then let the citizens vote. Let them decide. Hey, yes, this is something I want to do. I
like that. Okay.
Or something like no, I don't want to do.
Anything else?
I think those
are the top three that you're working on.
That'll probably take me my 4 years.
I would say I like all those. I feel like the sidewalks are a huge deal. Yes, and the cats. Obviously, I'm a big proponent of that. Yeah. And I have been saying about. I don't own anymore, but. I would support that if I were an owner now. So I knew I would support you. Okay, what is the biggest lesson from your personal journey that you hope to model for others in this community?
You know what? Probably what we just discussed is step back, take a deep breath.
Slow down. Nothing is urgent.
Well, there's going to be some things that are urgent. I mean, some things need to get taken care of right now. But, after some of the things that I've been through and after something you've been through with your house fire, you just kind of step back, and I think you change your perception of what's important changes a little bit. Things that were so important then aren't as important now. And some things that I didn't think were as important then are way more important now. So
I would say I figured that out the night I was sitting there watching my house burn down. I was like, you don't, and then you can relate when you have your heart, like you don't remember what you were worried about before that moment. Right. Yep. Because at this moment now is survival, life or death, and a new perception and a new perspective of life. So yes, I agree. So maybe that makes you not necessarily a better leader, but a more well-rounded leader when you have those types of experiences that you can take from your personal journey and then help lead the community. Okay, so how can residents step in? One of the things that I didn't like about the previous mayor was that he was not engaging with me, because I was an advocate for the cats. I would email him like, please, we need something. He would never email me back. And then he would have like his assistant email me, oh, we're talking about it. But nobody would ever follow through. And that's one thing I liked about you when you were on Facebook, is that you were engaging with people. And I think that's what establishes trust and connection and community, is when we know what our leadership is doing.
Sure.
So how can residents support you, connect with you, Go ahead.
Well, first of all, the door is always open. They're more than welcome to stop in anytime they want.
They can email you.
They can email me. They can, if you see me on the street, I mean, I live in the city, so I'm around anywhere. Yeah.
And I think because you're approachable, it makes it easy for people to just be like, oh, hey.
Yeah, one thing I learned, early on is that, you're never going to make everybody happy. However, I have found that people who were upset about something, if I at least explained to them why, they still didn't like it, they still didn't agree with it. Sidewalks is a perfect example, right? Listen, I would love to put sidewalks everywhere tomorrow. It's expensive, and we just don't have the money. And
but we can start the process of like researching and looking about,
and that's what we're doing right now. We're looking at ways to fund it.
We just need people to be open to the idea of like, hey, let's look at it. Let's see what it looks like.
And the truth of the matter is I do believe that the prior administration did look at things. They just weren't very good at letting people know that they did it, because usually if somebody comes to you with a problem and you're like, well, this is how we solve it, but they're not going to like it. Some people are saying, well, we're not going to say nothing, we're not going to tell them.
Yeah.
So for instance, one of the issues I've been having, and I tell this to everybody, I have 5 emails in my email box of people who are upset about streetlights that are burned out. And I have another 5 of people who had it replaced and now they're too bright. So, but the nice part is I reached out to those people who said they were bright, and I told them, hey, listen, I've been in contact with, so first of all, the illuminating company handles all that, not the city. But I contacted them and I talked to them, hey, can we get different lights? Can we get them dimmable? Can we get, is there different, they're not wattages anymore because they're LED, but is there different, nope, this is what we have, this is what we do.
Oh, really?
But, so I let people know, and again, they weren't happy, but I think they were at least...
Somebody gave me an answer.
Hey, at least you gave me an answer.
Yeah.
It may not be the answer I wanted.
And that's fine. Like, I would have been fine if the mayor would have just replied back like, hey, we don't have it in the budget. Then I would have gone my own route and like tried to find it. But like, just ghosting me, like that's not helpful.
No, and if I ghost you, it's by accident. Because, I mean, seriously, listen, I get so many emails, I do miss some here and there.
Yeah.
For the most part, I try to respond to everybody.
Well, that's good. And then if you really are passionate about it, somebody will email you more than one time.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't get lost in the shuffle.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Chad, for doing this.
Well, I appreciate it.
This was lovely. Congrats to you.
Thank you.
I look forward to the next 4 years.
Hopefully.
Yes.